What is up, everybody? Happy Friday! Welcome into the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am your host, one half of your host, your virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. What are you drinking this evening?
Oh, Mr. Nick, the usual, my Tito's, cranberry and orange juice. I need you to tell me what you're thinking and drinking and our three things.
Well, I am having my usual J-Lore 7 Oaks, but I got three things for you. Swerve Strickland is the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Becky Lynch is the WWE Women's World Heavyweight Champion. And Jack Perry has returned to AEW. So let's get into it. Starting with AEW, All Elite Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new World Heavyweight Champion at Dynasty on Sunday night. If you ventured to stay up late and could make it through, Swerve Strickland challenged Samoa Joe for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship in what all accounts was a very good match, top-tier match. Swerve, back and forth affair. Swerve ends up taking the Muscle Buster, kicking out of the Muscle Buster, which not many people have.
Very protected.
Very well protected move and very dangerous move regardless. But I digress. Mm-hmm. Kicks out of the Muscle Buster, ends up reversing a corner move with Joe, power bombing Joe.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Oh, what? Well, I'm kind of skipping towards the end, the highlights.
I kind of wrote it down because it was like kind of sort of the sequence. So, like Nick said, he kicked out of the Muscle Buster at 2, very protective move, and then Joe kicks out of his big move set when he hits the house call, does the 450 and the stomp, kick out at 2, and then what you were alluding to is a little more happens in the match. He hits the house call again. He goes up top. Joe cuts him off. He jumps over Joe and hits the power bomb, goes up, hits the swerve stomp again, and that's how you do 1, 2, 3. New champion, confetti comes.
New AEW World
Champion, and the first African American champion. They started 2018, 2019, and now 2024. You finally got your first African American champion.
So I have a lot of feelings about this because I think Swerve is one of the top guys right now for sure in AEW. But I have my concerns just for the fact that, is this the right time to make him world champion? There's so many other talented main event level guys. We always talk about the misuse of some of the other guys like Malachi Black and I know Adam Cole's been injured, and where's MJF? I guess he's still injured. Like, that whole storyline is falling by the wayside. So I'm a little concerned with the sense of where this is going, and is he getting overlooked? Because there's two things with Swerve. I've loved his work. I think he's been fantastic over the last 6 months, a year and change. But where I'm a little concerned is just I think he's a way better heel. And I'm worried that he's getting lost in the shuffle. Hydra's checking in. I was so happy when Swerve won. Yeah, a lot of people were.
I think I'm higher on Swerve than you were. I was super excited. I think he's again, I've said this a million times. He was all right in WWE. I think he's a flippin' star in AEW. I think it's the right time. I think Joe was sort of that middle guy between to get it off MJF, and now that since the whole MJF Adam storyline had to fall for the wayside because they're both injured, and I think it was a fun feud with Hangman and Swerve and Joe, and I think it's a great time to put it on. I think he's going to hold it till August, and he's going to drop it to Ospreay at Wembley, but I think he's kind of this good, I don't want to call him transitional champ, because I don't think he's necessarily that, but I think it's time. I think he's a big star. I feel like there's so many other kind of storylines going on, and I think he can just be champ. And I think he had a fun match with Kyle Fletcher. They had what do they call them? It's an eliminator. Where if you beat him, you get those matches. You have to beat the champ to get a chance at the title.
You have to beat the champ twice, essentially.
But I think he had a fun match with Kyle Fletcher. Like, I think he puts on incredible matches. I think he's good on the mic. He doesn't need Prince Nana, but I love them together. Like, he's so over. It's like you see the sign on the side. Like, you say whose house and everyone else Swerve's house. Like, I think he's super over. I'm hoping he has some good, kind of matches between now and Wembley. I don't know. I think it's something different. I think this is kind of the first. Obviously not homegrown, but I just feel like you have these huge names, Jericho and Moxley and Omega, like these huge names. And then it went to MJF, who's obviously amazing. You're kind of homegrown guy. But this now kind of seems like another, like, I don't know, somebody you want to make champion instead of like, I'm just throwing it on Jericho or Moxley because they're these huge names.
Well, he's not a homegrown guy, but he's a free agent that made his name there. Like, he came from WWE, did NXT, like was on the Indies, didn't do as like didn't get to the level ascend. Like he would be considered a mid-card guy pretty much ever until what he did for the last 6 months to a year. He's ascended to a whole other level, and that's where AEW can take full credit on that. And yeah, like that's where, like Tony Storm's another one where in WWE you didn't see what the potential, like you saw some potential, but you didn't really get to see what she could be. And now you look at this character that she is, and it's phenomenal. But I kind of say, like, so I pose this question out to everybody: is AEW overlooking Swerve's title reign? Because we opened the show Dynamite on Wednesday, and the open is, and I get it, I know, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit with Jack Perry's return and the Elite, but all the whole opening was just all about the Elite. He doesn't get on TV. He's the new world champion. He doesn't get on TV till 10 minutes into the show with his match, and even during his match, they're doing cut scenes to the Young Bucks and Jack Perry in the back, and it kills me because he has this moment that the fan base wanted, right? It was overwhelming that more often than not, more people than not wanted Swerve to be champion, and I'm glad he got this moment. And now he has the opportunity to come out, and his first Dynamite, flagship show as champion, they do these little subtle undermining, so in my opinion. So like that's just what kind of bothers me and about that whole storyline. And like he's your world champion. That should be the prime belt. Like, unless you're telling me that this new Elite, like maybe Jack Perry is going to be part of this and go after the world title or something, but it's just overlooking Swerve. So
I hope, like, I understand, I agree with what you're saying. I think they should have had, again, the match was fun, and I'm hoping it's just to get this to what we're going to talk about later, that angle over and, set the groundwork for that. But I'm hoping, I don't know if he's going to be on Collision or not, or next Dynamite, it'll be like a bigger thing. I hope this is just a one-off because of what the angle was at the end of Dynamite. And obviously the angle in the beginning of Dynamite to set up Trent already turned on them, but Chucky turning on Trent and joining OC, and then kind of Trent's on his own. So I'm hoping that I just needed to get these angles done.
And
I'm hoping that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was about to talk about the match between Trent and Chucky, and they filmed that Thursday after Dynamite, and Tony Khan was wearing the neck brace, so I got lost there. But I'm hoping. Sorry, it's been a day. But I'm hoping that they treat him better going forward. I hope it's just this weird off thing because they had to get other things done, and then he can be bigger.
Good point. So Hydra checks in. He says, "Yes, I agree, but let's see what happens on Collision because he's supposed to be." Yeah. Okay. So give him that promo, and let's see what he does. But I just, again, like it just irks me because he's the world champion. He should be the focal point of every show. Steven kind of reiterated that open Collision right after the NBA.
So are they, again, do they pre-tape or are they going live after the NBA? Because I hate that they're on TBS or TNT and they get interrupted by sports.
I think they probably pre-tape. Because when are you going to have him start Dynamite at 10 p.m.?
Well, Collision.
Sorry. Is Collision 10 p.m. already? Isn't
Yeah, tomorrow Saturday.
No, but like, all right, so, well, I guess then if it's only like a half hour, then they might do that.
When does the game start?
Usually it's like 7, 8, prime time's like 8 p.m., so it could be 11.
Good thing we recorded. I can't stay up this late watching this.
But
again, I'm hoping again, like to what our friends say in the chat, like I'm hoping he does have a big moment on Collision. I don't know. I think he's a start. I really don't want them to mess this up. I really, really don't, because I know there's been so many things, so many things about them, like WCW and everything, and I just don't want Swerve to get kind of fucked in this situation.
What do you all think? We got a bunch of new people coming in the chat. If you're new here, hit the old like and subscribe button. We want to have you back as regulars. So come in, join in the conversation. Let's talk a little wrestling. But we got a couple other topics to get through. So we're not just talking AEW. We talk all wrestling here. But
support all wrestling.
We love all wrestling. But topic 2 of this week's show, there's another new world champion. After a battle royal on Monday Night Raw in the main event, we have a new WWE Women's World Heavyweight Champion. That's what they're calling it.
Yes,
had to get it right.
World and WWE.
And back on top is the man. Whoops, wrong one. This one. Becky Lynch is back on top as our World Heavyweight Champion after outlasting a final 3 of herself, obviously, Liv Morgan and Nia Jax, who seems to always end up in the final, 3 people of Battle Royals now.
Yeah. She's a big gal.
Well, she had a nice moment in that match with actually her and Piper Niven, which I thought was cool. And then Piper, she beat up Piper, and Piper went in the corner, and Chelsea just kind of goes and consoles her and cradles her. It's just, their relationship is hysterical.
I love Piper and Chelsea together so much. They're actually, and we'll get to that later, but in the draft they're together. I didn't necessarily love the kind of horsewoman kind of fight that they got into in the middle. I think Nia makes her look bad. I think Nia makes a lot of people look bad. But we all know, for our new friends, I don't like Nia Jax.
Yes.
But I do have no.
I will make a graphic one day of a Nikki hates Nia graphic.
I know hate's a strong word, but I just don't feel like she protects people or makes them look good or selling or whatever. But I have notes and I can get to that. But I basically have notes from we get to the final 5, which is Nia, Becky, Liv. Obviously, Nick just said they were final 3, and it's also Zoe and Shayna Baszler. And also in the draft tonight, they're not being drafted as a tag team. So I think and especially what happens in this match, I think they're Splitsville. So of course, Nia eliminates Zoe. She just kind of hoofs her over the top rope. And then she gets into it with Shayna. She puts Shayna over the rope, but Shayna's on the apron. And then you see Zoe behind her kind of oh, don't fall. You got this. Don't. And then Shayna looks at her what? And then of course Nia pushes her off. And then basically Zoe kind of caught her. So I feel like Zoe's the reason that Shayna got eliminated by Nia. And then also they brought up on commentary and whatever other battle royal that Zoe won to face.
She's not like most girls.
Ed, I know you. I know.
Ed likes Nia.
Because she's not like most. Oh god. And I can't. So let me get through this segment. That made me laugh. So Zoe basically grabs her, and I think that's what's going to split them up. But they also said in the whatever battle royal Zoe had to win to get that title match against Rhea, 6 months ago now, or wasn't it over last summer? Anywhoosies, but Zoe eliminated Shayna in that, so there was a callback to that. So I think either they're splitting them up or they're going to feud.
Zoe's got a really, really bright future. She's really good in the ring, a lot better in the ring than I thought.
Yeah, and honestly, I like her better on main than I did in NXT, and I think there's got a handful of people that are just better on main, and I think I really love her finisher. If someone sells it right,
if she gets
Trish Stratus is dog shit on it, but when she hit it on Rhea, it looked really good. Again, there's certain people that take care of their other people and make them look good. But I agree with you. I think she has a future. But so now we're down to the final 3. So they does this really awesome move, Liv goes to hit a code breaker on Nia, and then Becky comes in with a neck breaker, and they fall and sell it, and then Nia's oh, I'm supposed to fall too, and then falls because she got the code breaker. And so I think,
yeah. That was weird. Yeah,
it was it would have been so cool if they all felt at the same time. But you've had such a delayed reaction. She's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to fall backwards."
I honestly, watching it, I thought that too, and I was like, "That looked really bad." But like, I feel like she couldn't because Liv didn't pull her down or didn't pull her down, and like I think if you did, you could really like screw up your neck. So like, I think she kind of had to because it's like one of those like knee jerk movements.
There's also another crappy code breaker later. I love Liz, and I know a lot of where's our Homan. I know a lot of people love Liv, and I love Liv too. I'm tired. She hits way too many code breakers during a match. Way too many code breakers. But I digress. Okay, so then they go. Then like Liv and Becky try to team up to suplex Nia, and of course then she reverses it and the double suplex back that way. Then, since they're both down, she drags them over to do. I wrote bonsai drop. I'm not going to call it whatever annihilator or whatever collider. Whatever.
The annihilator.
It's a bonsai drop. So she goes to hit that, but Becky gets up and pushes her out. Then, again, Liv hits a code breaker, and then Becky comes with her leg drop, and then that's what eliminates her. And then
Steve's saying there's a rumor that there was a botched ending and that Liv was supposed to win.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I will get to my thoughts, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts, Steven. Steven! Okay, so then they get into like a hockey fight. They start punching each other, and then Becky goes out of the ring, and then she comes back in, and they're fighting each other more, and then the final sequence, they're on the apron. Then they both pretend that they're going to suplex each other, and then for some reason, like, Becky's behind her, because like she's going to German her off, and like I think Michael Cole was like, why? So they get back on the ring. Then again, Liv hits a code breaker. Doesn't look great. And then Becky comes back from hitting the post, hits her with a manhandle slam. She falls. Becky wins. And my theory is, I don't know if it didn't, to me, like the code breaker didn't look great, but I think they were too far apart. But the manhandle slam and her hitting it, and then she rolled off. That's how it looked like to me. I think they want to put the belt on Liv. I think it would do more for Liv to have an actual match with Becky at Backlash and win the belt that way. I think Lynch is just having this so Liv can have a bigger moment somewhere else. Because I think this has to be because her revenge tour, which how she hurt Rhea in the first place, originally started with her first kind of matches with Becky. And I think it kind of is a nice culmination of like, I'm going to take the belt off Becky. Like, I beat up Becky. I took out Rhea. Like, she's top lady now. Like, look at me. Like, I think it's just, Liv is going to get that belt. I think it's a more impactful, and I think it will set her up better when Rhea does come back. If she actually legit beats Lynch in a match. I think it does more for Liv than winning a battle royal. And with this, 1 second. I think Liv beating Becky is a bigger thing, and like Becky, it doesn't hurt her to lose to Liv or just winning the belt at a battle royal. I think it's going to be super transitional.
So, unrelated, really love, well, kind of related. No, it's related. I love how, and they started doing these last couple weeks with Sami Zayn with like the intros from the back, like walking through the pan. And I really, really love how they started this match with like Becky Lynch, like walking. Well, it was really like, I forget what's her name, the backstage correspondent announcer woman.
Jackie Redmond?
Yeah. The brunette. Yeah. So she came on and like she was supposed to, I forget who she was supposed to interview. And then all of a sudden Liv Morgan is fighting with, I think, Nia. And like they're going at it in the back. And like, which I was like, I guess because her revenge tour, like Nia was on that too. So it's just a great, like a chaotic way of like opening the match. And then, you know, Becky kind of takes over as like the announcer and like walks through, which was kind of neat. She stops and talks to Maxine, which I was like, okay, cool. Like a baby face moment. But I was like, a little too much. Like, go out there and show them.
Well, I think that kind of stems back, and I feel super bad about this because I know Maxine's not great, and I feel like she's trying. I feel like what happens when she got really booed at that one house show, and then like all the women roster was just like, we love Maxine, she's doing great, like she's trying, like she's learning all this other stuff. So I think it maybe gives her a little bit of rub, and after
that'd be interesting. So Hydra thinks Liv joining the Judgment Day would be revenge. Honestly, I don't. It would be, but I don't see it for this reason. I don't see the Judgment Day staying together, period.
Well, Dominic is going to be out for a little bit. Dominic's getting Tommy John surgery on his elbow.
Yeah, that's a waste.
So they're saying that with a typical Tommy John surgery, they're out for 9 months. They're saying he's not like throwing like a baseball or anything, so it's gonna be shorter time. They think like he's not gonna be able to do anything for a little bit. They pulled him from the European tour that they just had. So like Rhea entered.
Yeah, Steven's saying it. I heard that too. If I can get it up, it's not. That's not.
Did I say tummy?
John disputed that earlier today. I was trying to get it up.
Oh, okay. But did I say tummy?
Tommy John surgery. Yes, Tommy John surgery. Actually, if you guys don't know, Tommy John surgery is what Sheamus just got.
Stop it! You shared dirty mouth. You will not.
We're not body Sheamusing. See what I did there?
Where's that book you just got? I want you to.
I don't know. Well, I think he's frozen. So there's that. Nikki got frozen. She's coming back.
On me.
Well, hopefully everyone out there can still hear us, and we'll come back at a period of time. So.
Nick, you are not body shame. My Sheamus.
Hold on. You want?
Boo this man.
We have sound effects now. But yeah. So I don't know. I thought that it was a good promo though. They had we got a bunch of people.
Well, I'd say we rode out a little bit. We know. I think we're back. I'm sorry. I blame Nick for shaming an Irishman. Doing a little Irish curse on our show that froze us for a minute. Hey, we're Irish people don't fuck around.
Ed thought Sheamus had too many limes. Yeah, I heard that one too. It's what DeGrom had too many of.
It's that Snoop Dogg commercial with Andy Samberg. He's like, I swallowed the lime. He's like, it's okay. Limes are a superfruit.
Which I don't know where to go from that. But regardless. So topic number 3. Let's move.
Okay.
Well, do you have any last?
Apparently now he's not getting surgery. I think it'd be interesting to see Liv and Dom together. But then I wouldn't want to Rhea to come back and like, you stole my man. Like, no one needs to be fighting over Dom Mysterio, please.
Well,
it depends how they do it. I don't know, but also, I don't know.
I wouldn't hate it. I think it'd be kind of fun. Like, why not? Like, just add another layer into this whole storyline. I mean, and
I don't see her having a conversation with like Rhea can talk to Damian Priest and put him in his place. I don't necessarily see Liv doing that.
I never know. Well, now after her injury,
maybe she needs to turn heel a little bit more if that's where this is really going.
Listen, it's going to be a Dom on a pole match.
Oh, God.
He's going to be upside down, and you just have to grab him. Or grab him by the legs and just wrap him up.
Like, is he like a Shark Tank, or is this like?
Yeah, Dom is in a Shark Tank.
Bagwell on a forklift.
It's 100% Dom in a Shark Tank. Actually, that's that. Now that I think about it, that's exactly how it needs to go down. What do you all think? Dom in a Shark Tank?
SummerSlam main event. Rhea, Liv, Dom in a Shark Tank.
Custody of Dom match the sequel.
Yeah. Oh, it's even better.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's that. I've been seeing some of those like people been like taking the actual picture of him from like what was it, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. 10 years ago.
With little blonde spiky hair. Oh my God, it's hysterical, Steven.
It'd be great. It'd be too funny. All right, so enough Dom Mysterio talk.
To potentially maybe the Dom Mysterio of AEW. I said that.
So that's a nice segue into our topic number 3.
Big bucks, baby!
Exactly. That's why we didn't shut off your microphone today. We didn't have any issue. Only one issue. Only one connection issue. But
the nutty sound, baby.
Regardless, Jungle Boy is he called the Scapegoat now? The Scapegoat Jack Perry has returned to All Elite Wrestling on Sunday at Dynasty in the World Tag Team title match. The Young Bucks faced off against FTR for the 4th time in this rivalry, if we're still calling this installation of a rivalry, but that's what we're calling it. I don't know. I guess it's still a rivalry, but
Why would it be a rivalry?
I don't know. I'm kind of, because I'm over it.
Oh.
And I think most people are. But I feel like in like sports, it's like, it's like when one team wins enough, or you just don't care anymore. It's like, is this really a rivalry anymore? Like even like high school, it's like, we're friends with that school. We don't really care. There's not really a rivalry. I don't know. Anyway, I digress.
Clearly.
So we have a ladder match at Dynasty. Basically, fast forward to the end. I was confused. Dax, right? Dax is the one climbing the ladder, the one who talks more.
Yes.
Dax Harwood is climbing the ladder to seemingly get the belts and become World Tag Champions when he's pushed off a ladder by a masked man who ends up being Jack Perry, who smiles as one of the Jacksons. Was it Matt? I think it was Matt. Climbs a ladder and retrieves the belt. The Young Bucks are new World Tag Team Champions again. We follow that up on Dynamite, opening the show, as we talked about earlier, opening our show, with Jack Perry joining the Elite, walking into the arena. We see tidbits throughout the night of him meeting with Tony Khan and just kind of circling around the arena and just being seen. Eventually, they agree to a one-on-one. Later in the evening, a face-to-face.
Yeah.
That Jack Perry comes out. He says, 5 years ago, essentially, Dynamite was born.
He does this real rah-rah baby, like he's young boy, like, I've had the best nights of my life here in Jacksonville, and Tony, you need to come down here because we're going to change the world, and all I care about is AEW. And, like, at this point, Tony's in the ring, and he's like, I care about AEW, and he's like, I'm like, all right, calm down.
He's like, everything I did, he's like, we never saw eye to eye, but everything that I did was for AEW. So they have a long embrace.
I wish you had it. I get it. I'm so obsessed with the Tony Khan hug, and I really want one day because it looks magical. But I wish you got a better photo because they panned him when he turns and smirks, and it's just great, like dead on shot of him just smiling, and you're like, oh girl, something is about to happen. I really did not expect him to hit him in the stomach with a microphone. But I think Tony did very well with kind of just like falling back. Like it didn't like, I think he sold better than like kind of like redacted Vince used to do. But kind of just fell back, and then Okada and the Bucks come running out like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, oh my God, they're like bending over to like check on Tony. And then of course, Nicholas is on one side, Matthew's on the other, and they kind of pull him up like they're going to hit the EVP trigger.
Yeah, now it's the EVP trigger.
Now it's the EVP trigger. And now Okada's like, no, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm going to cough. Sorry. They're like, what are you doing? And then they go to hit him. They pick it, like, Matthew picks him up. They're going to hit, which used to be the Meltzer driver. Then they now call the Tony Khan driver, so Tony got Tony'd.
Well,
so they hit him, like...
Tearing up my AEW contract in New Japan ring was all for AEW. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's all storyline. But anyway, go on.
So Nicholas goes up top. Matthew has him in the tombstone position. He saying to Nick that this move just is so extra that he does the big flip to just spike him down. You know they did it super gentle. They cut the camera so you can see that like Matthew completely had him like cradled like a little baby. But then Tony sold it like you shot him in the fucking face. And he's laying there and they like pull him into the middle of the ring and he's just laying like a starfish, just like dead. It's a joke that Ed said a couple weeks ago that like somewhere like John Moxley's bleeding, and I feel like someone wrote it on Facebook like somewhere like Tony Khan is still laying like that in the middle of the ring in Jacksonville.
He and to his credit, he kept kayfabe up because he went to the NFL draft last night, and he had a neck brace on, he had everything going on. So like props. Also at the end of this, which I could be wrong. I probably will. Tell me in the comments down below. I think this is one of the rare times, if not the first time, we saw his dad like come out and get into like the ring, and was like really selling it. And I think it's great when they, show the Jacksonville Jaguars when they're picking in their little war room, I guess, and he has the neck brace. Yeah. So we as fans appreciate. So definitely enjoyed that part of it. Honestly, my question in all of this is, you have the Bucks, who are, arguably the best tag team in the world right now, right? You have Okada, who's supposed to be the next big thing. What is so funny?
Sorry, Steven. Yeah.
What did Steven say? She had probably realized where all his money was going. Exactly. That is good. Exactly. He saw all in the ring, just with the four of them. So, well, except maybe not Jack Perry.
I was just like, he's got a little Okada. I'm like, oh, this is where all my money's going.
So, but my question after all this is, you have Okada, you have the Bucks. Is this going to? We've heard about like the bad blood between Jack Perry and Tony Khan. Or Tony didn't really want him back. We've heard about him doing the scapegoat thing in New Japan, and obviously the CM Punk thing, and he's like the martyr or whatever. Well, he's a scapegoat, but like obviously for this whole thing. So I'm curious, will this finally be what gets him over and makes Jack Perry a main event talent? Because I think you're doing all this, you're trying to make him as big a star as possible. So will he become that?
I think it's two different questions, because he said, is he going to get it over, and is he going to be a main eventer? I think
over as a main eventer. That's what I'm getting at.
No. I think it's very mixed about people, how they feel about that segment. I think in the beginning of it, Jack coming out, I think is probably one of the best promos he's ever cut. I think he sounds great, because when he was like Jungle Boy, when they did that Pillars match, and they were all cutting promos, like, he was awful. I think it was the best he sounded on a mic. I think when he walked out there, he got a great response. They all were doing, "Oh, cry me a river." When he came to that New Japan show in Chicago, like, I was expected him to get booed out the building. Wasn't. I think he was kind of super over in that event. I think this is probably a better direction for Jack. Is it going to make him a main eventer? I don't think so.
Yeah, I never really thought he was going to be
like
a pillar. Even the pillar thing,
I don't know. A pillar? I don't know. We met him on the Jericho cruise. I think he was kind of a dick.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, yeah. But I don't know. It's a tough. I mean, but there's so many people that, like, if you said Swerve Strickland a year ago would be a main eventer and world champion, I would say no. So like, there's so many people.
Me and you disagree so hard on Swerve.
But so you just never know. I think you just never know how it's gonna go. So, but again, with that whole storyline, you made a great point. Tony Khan gets not Meltzer Driver, conned. Tony got Tony'd. And he comes in and he shows up at the NFL draft with the neck brace. So that being said, a couple weeks back, we did a fun show leading up to WrestleMania with March Madness. We did a show about, WrestleMania brackets. So this week, given that it's the NFL draft and the WWE draft, we thought we'd do something a little unique, and we're going to do our own WWE AEW draft. So, Nikki and I...
He's explained this to me like 4 or 5 times. So, I still don't know if I got it. So, we'll see what happens.
Hydra. Oh, it's Hydra. I'm just getting disappointed. He's gotten better since time off. Yeah, he's gotten better.
I very much think so, too. I think he maybe kind of had his young boy, like, excursion in New Japan. I think maybe that kind of did a world of wonder. I'm hoping... We said this Ed and I were talking about this maybe 2 weeks ago. We were talking about Kingston, like, with Hook and stuff. Like, obviously with WWE, there's so many classes in NXT and what you have to do. And I'm worried about in AEW, there's no, like, promo class. I'm hoping maybe in Japan, Jack sat down with Mox at some point and like talked, because, like, again, Mox cut a promo on Dynamite. He lost his eyebrows, and I don't know what's going on with him. It's really upsetting my life. But I'm hoping. I agree that, like, since his time away for the past, 6-8 months now? I can't believe Wembley feels like forever ago. But I agree. I'm hoping. I know it was a brief time, but he's there for a good time, not a long time.
So we'll see. So, getting back to it. So, what we decided to do, we set up some parameters for this WAEW. That's what I'm going to call it, WAEW draft. So, we're going to set up our own teams. I don't have an actual chart, so we can't write this down, but we're going to do it verbally. Our parameters are 5 rounds. We're going to try and do this as fast as possible so we can take some calls. So, while we're doing this, I'm going to put up the call-in. The call-in link is below if anyone wants to chime in and let us know if you want to talk about some of the topics. We're going to open up the lines as soon as we get out of this, our little fantasy draft here.
So much that happened that we haven't talked about. So
exactly. That I'm sure our regulars are going to bring up. So we're going to get to that shortly. So our parameters for this, and play along with us as you do it, because if you're going to call in, feel free. We're going to ask you if you want to chime in on who your number 1 draft pick is. So 5. What?
Sorry, Ed got me again.
Oh, he bladed too much and his eyebrows left.
Sorry. I digress. Go, baby, go.
So we're just gonna take you off the comments page and just have you.
Now that I found out I can read them, this is bad for me.
It's the worst possible thing. So with our draft, it has to be anyone who is active within WWE or AEW within the last year. We are drafting 5 rounds. A main event male, a main event female. Those are classified as someone who's been a previous world heavyweight champion for AEW or WWE. We also have a mid-card male and a mid-card female is someone who has not won a world title. So it can be anyone as long as they've not won a world championship. And we're going to pick a tag team. So the rules are this. Anyone can pick. I could pick a tag team in the 1st round or the 5th round. It doesn't really matter. We're going to kind of go through it quickly. So I want to hear from all you as we're doing this. So ladies first. So Nikki, with your number 1 pick.
I know, there's so many boys, so little time. But I told you when you first proposed this to me, the number 1 name that came immediately out of my mouth was Kenny Omega. So I'm going Kenny. So
with the number 1 pick in the Nick Club Wrestling Fantasy Draft, Nikki selects Kenny Omega.
Oh God, we're never gonna hear the end of this button.
Oh, it's great. It's too much power for me.
You yell at me that I take too much time.
So with the number 2 pick in the draft, I am going to pick my main event male, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. MJF. Nikki, your pick.
I'm going to be a little different because I know we sort of kind of talked about who we're going to pick offline, and we kind of just talked about them, and I love them a lot. And there was a little rumor that they might be traveling back to WWE, but I'm going to go with my FTR forever.
She's picking tag team FTR. So your roster currently is Kenny Omega and FTR as your tag team, as your building blocks, as your pillars.
I like, guys. Like,
yeah, and this is the beauty of this. You pick whoever you like in the 2 companies. How would you build out your pillars? How would you build out your company? You have to pick these 5 and to set up your team. So now I'm at my number 2. Mm-hmm. My number 2 pick. I am going to pick for my women's main eventer, the future of WWE and women's wrestling, Rhea Ripley. So my roster currently is MJF and Rhea Ripley as my main eventers, as the faces of my men's and women's division.
I know, you're probably just so much better at this than I am, because I'm just literally, when you brought this up to me, I'm just going with the first people that popped into my head. And for my top women's champion, like, you would think I saw Becky Lynch or Rhea Ripley. Honestly, my number 1, Bianca Belair. I think she's a star. Undefeated at WrestleMania. Going Belair.
So your current Kenny Omega, Bianca Belair,
FTR.
And FTR.
Again, I'm just picking my favorites.
Since you've already picked a tag team, I will pick a tag team. And our parameters, so just to clarify, our parameters around tag teams with this pick was they have to be currently together. So one of the honorable mention, but they're not together, would have been the Usos. So, but I'm going to go with the Young Bucks since they are the World Tag Team Champions right now. I think they're one of the best tag teams in wrestling, if not the best. So I would take the Young Bucks. Your 4th round pick.
I'm going to go my mid-card female because it's Tiffy time. I'm taking Tiffany Stratton. That girl's going to be a star. Tiffy time.
Tiffy time. Okay, Tiffany Stratton. Good building block for your future women's division.
I
mid-card.
I would not be like I don't know if Money in the Bank is too soon. Maybe Royal Rumble. I think this next coming Mania, she's gonna be a star.
We'll stick with mid-card. I will pick with my mid-card female. I'm going to take, because she's never been a world champion yet, and she's been a mid-card champion. You know I love her. The future Jade Cargill. So my women's division on the single side consists of Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill. If I were to start a company, a brand, those are the 2 women that I would build around.
I like my Bianca Tiffy. And then again, it comes to our male mid-card. And once again, when Nick's like, oh, male card. Male mid-card. Say that 10 times fast, kids. I really loved this match on Sunday. And he just holds such a place in my heart. And I'm so glad he's back. I immediately said Kyle O'Reilly. I love him probably more than I should. But I'm so glad he's back. I think him and Roddy had a really fun match. I expected Roddy to win. But I think it was a great first match back. And I think him having a match with Roddy, who's very close in real life, I think it was incredible. Kyle O'Reilly. My roster's all over the place. But
as Nikki just Tony Khan's up her roster, paying Kyle O'Reilly $13 million over the next 4 years to just sit in the mid card.
I want to put a belt. I would put the IC belt on him and watch him dance and play the guitar on his championship belt all day, every day.
PPO's Roddy next strong. Exactly. So that's my final pick, right? We're in 5th.
Yeah, sorry. I can talk about Kyle O'Reilly all day.
And with our Mr. Irrelevant of this draft, I will pick, and it's so not irrelevant, but it's such a value pick for the mid-card. Never been a world champion in AEW or WWE. My mid-card talent, Will Ospreay. To start and build around, because I have Will Ospreay and I have Jade Cargill, who are my future challengers and my future champions in the mid-card and world champion.
You were definitely used your brain, was strategical, picked like, oh yeah, all these. And again, I loved every person you picked. I was like, who was the first thing that popped into my brain? Let's go with that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You pick with your heart and not your head sometimes. This is
why we're together, man.
Hence why, talking fantasy football, we were both in the championship, but someone had to win. Someone had to win, and it had to be the champ. So
everyone that was at our New Year's Eve party didn't hear the end of it.
His name is not Ostrich. It's Ospreay. Unbelievable.
Well, didn't Edge say so? He was calling him Osprey. That was annoying when Edge did that whole, I want to enter Osprey, and I was like, oh. I'm actually wearing your Will Ospreay shirt right now. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm wearing it.
It's a family shop.
Oh, God. You can pull yours down and show them your Kevin Nash shirt that you're wearing.
I got my Kevin Nash on because just like Kevin Nash used to book in WCW, the Young Bucks started booking themselves at the end of the card too. So they're just taking their WCW lessons in honor of WCW and WCW 2.0. So we want to hear from all of you. Before the phone lines are open, so the call-in link is below in the description. Actually, maybe I should take this, copy this, throw this little sucker here in the chat. If anyone else wants to chime in, let us know what you're drinking, what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Who's your number one pick? All that fun stuff. Before we get to the calls, because I know a couple people are chomping at the bit.
We're talking about fun stuff?
Yeah, we're just setting up some stuff for next week. So everyone here that's in, again, a bunch of listeners in here. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, click the like button, all that fun stuff. Come back. We're here every Friday at 6. But we've got a lot of fun stuff. Last week
Mm-hmm.
on our show, we had former WCW, multiple-time champion in WCW, Cruiserweight Tag Team Hardcore Champion, Crowbar, joined the show.
Who was the sweetest, most fun, like, talked about to be safe in the ring, talked about the physical therapy work that he does now. He's from Jersey. We talked Pork Roll versus Taylor Ham. He's a Star Wars fan. Him and I could have talked Star Wars for 6 years when Nick got angry. He was, like, so fun to talk to. I know Nick put in our YouTube page just kind of clipped out just the interview with Crowbar, and he was so incredibly nice, and I want you all to go check it out and give him some love.
Yeah, he's got a show. Actually, his show's tonight. He's got one tonight, but he's another one in May 3rd in Morristown, New Jersey. So if you guys are in the area, make sure you check that out. But yeah, if you want to check out that interview, go back and get a little free time. We cut it up. We have one that's just a video of just the interview, the 45 or so minutes of Crowbar talking life, wrestling, everything with us, Star Wars, but all that fun stuff. So check that out. But that is the first of many. So we've got an action-packed lineup the next couple of weeks. We're trying to balance it out so that we can get calls in. Anytime we have guests, we're going to try and get some of our listeners to call in and ask questions. Last week, we had Steven, one of our regulars, ask a question to Crowbar. Great experience. So make sure you turn on notifications, subscribe. That's the only way you can hear about all these. Regardless, next week, we have the reinforcer, Andrew Anderson. You might recognize him from The Wrestler. He's done some commercials. He's very, very adamant out there on the indie scene, wrestling everyone under the sun. So we're really excited to have him on the show. That's Friday, May 3rd, next Friday at 6 p.m. So make sure you mark that in your calendars, get your questions ready, look him up, check out some of his matches. Pretty hardcore stuff. Not to John Moxley levels of bleeding to Ed's happiness, but regardless, some great stuff from him. So we're really excited to have him on May 3rd. Then May 10th, we come back, and the Nick Club had to add another Nick.
Wait, new member, a Jersey flipping girl, Nikki Duke. So excited to have her on. Also
known as Ariel Sky from Women of Wrestling will be joining us. So she's coming on the show. We're going to talk everything New Jersey, pro wrestling.
Badass bitches, wrestling, New Jersey.
So if you want to be part of that show, the only way is to subscribe. Make sure you're here Friday at 6. You can send in your questions. You can call in and ask Nikki some of your questions. Ask Andrew some of your questions. So we're really excited. So mark your calendars. Get ready. It's going to be a big, fun spring going into summer.
Yeah, May's going to be real fun, guys. So call in, check in. We're going to do some fun stuff around here.
So that being said, the phone...
Oh, you never know who's going to show up at happy hour.
Exactly. So, that being said, eeny, meeny, pick a number.
I don't know, 3. 3's my number.
All right. So, we open with the man who talked, one of our regulars who talked with Crowbar last week. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve.
Yes, it's Shad's wallet.
Steve.
Welcome in.
What are you thinking? Steve. What are you drinking?
I'm thinking, okay, I saw Tony at the draft last night too with the neck brace, and he moved his head. And the first thought that came to mind was, well, that's another thing Tony can't sell.
Oh, my God.
Can't sell moves, can't sell injuries, can't sell tickets.
I don't think he was that bad on the moves, though.
and poor Shad's going like, I could have gotten a whole new offensive line with this money.
Well, he just forked out how many, like $84 million to Calvin Ridley. So, I mean,
wide receiver.
Yeah. Calvin Ridley just signed in Jacksonville. So you can draft him on your fantasy team. Yeah. I just sorry. Chime in. TK can't sell.
The man's the size of my leg. He's a small little man that just wants to hug people.
I feel like, am I the only person that thinks that, like, he reminds me of, like, me in, like, junior high when my parents would be like, "You're gonna go to like a dance or something like that, or like a prom," and it's like, or we have to go to like a family event, and they give you a suit that's like 4 sizes too
That's
big.
tall and doesn't fit you.
Yeah, and you're like walking around like it's like every time the guy's a billionaire. How can he not have a suit that fits him? I don't understand this. It's true. He has no suits that fit him. He's literally every time either he's that scrawny a person, but you could go to Baby Gap or something. I'm telling you, you'll find a suit that fits you. It drives you crazy. You have that much money and you can't find a suit that fits.
And whose suit was baggier, Tony's or David Burns in the Stop Making Sense movie?
Or or JBL. When JBL came out, remember the MC Hammer pants, the Johnny Gargano a couple of weeks when Gargano was like in his second or third, and he was managing Baron Corbin, and he was managing Baron Corbin, and they sent him out, and he's like, oh, the dry cleaner, and he had these pants that made him look like a clown.
The biggest bell bottom.
The puffy pants.
Exactly. We got some new people in the chat. Join in the conversation. If you're new here, hit the old subscribe button. We got the call-in line working. We got one of our regulars, Steve, on the line. So, Steve.
Yeah.
What besides hating on Tony Khan's selling ability, what are you thinking?
Oh, what am I thinking? I like the direction the Liv Morgan angle is going in. It looks like they're really setting her up to try to present her as a badass, and they've been like a real badass, and they've been really working with her. It makes perfect sense that Rhea is not around, and she did say she was going to take everything from Rhea, and that would include Judgment Day, that would include her man, and I think the next pay-per-view premium live event, which I think is the one in France, right?
Yeah, it's Backlash May 4th.
In a couple of weeks, yeah.
It's next Saturday.
Next week. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't have to get up at 5 a.m. for this one, too, do I?
No, it's 1. It's 1.
I know
we have to figure
watch
out
it
that.
on delay because
Okay.
I know we have to figure out what we're going to do, either if we're going to do the recap show that Saturday night or do it Sunday. So we'll have to figure that all out.
It's going to have to be Sunday. I mean, we're seeing where's my mom and my brother on the 4th, and then having to watch that and then do it now.
But I think that's where she's going to win the title finally, and she and Becky will have a nice little feud to last until Rhea gets back, which I think is supposed to be around SummerSlam, right?
That's the rumor.
I still think it would be a great angle, like the Brock Lesnar angle with Rhea for Money in the Bank. Let her come out Money in the Bank in July and just steal it from somebody last minute. Like beat the crap out of some participant, take it, and then say, listen, when I'm healthy, I'm cashing this in because I'm owed this.
And I disagree. I think that should be for new stars, up and coming stars who are ready to be minted. So like Tiffany.
He's doing my
got
idea.
a budget now and can afford sound effects.
We broke the bank on the sound effect.
Honestly, it made Mustafa Ali look real stupid when he's about to grab the case and then he hears Brock music hit and he's like, what? Hate that. Also, I'm assuming Rhea's going to come back super mega babyface, and her just charging into a match and seeing the briefcase would not be very babyface. I
disagree. I think she's so over it wouldn't matter.
I would absolutely
no. Rhea doesn't need the briefcase.
Thank you. Stay on.
All right, Steve, before we let you go, what is your number one pick? If you're building your wrestling federation.
Okay, so what was the rule again? It can't be. It has to be somebody who has been. It can't be a current world champion.
You basically, so any callers can it's open book. You could pick a tag team if you wanted to. You could pick like a female singles wrestler, male singles wrestler.
Your main event star would be anyone who wrestled in AEW or WWE in the past year.
All right. Well, I mean, I have to go. Who's a draw and who's available a lot. I mean, I'm thinking, Punk right now is probably the biggest star there is right now, but he's on the shelf. So
Omega. So
yeah, I would have to say Cody.
Cody.
No, we didn't say Punk. We didn't say Cody.
I know
we didn't say Drew.
Punk. Well, Drew wasn't going to be in my list because I was going to get. I want someone who's going to to Steven's point, who's going to draw and wrestle good, and like Punk is a good one because I think Punk, he's a needle mover, he's a great wrestler. Omega is a great wrestler. I don't know how much of a needle mover he is in terms of like fans, like because like his charisma is
not
a little
2018 anymore, so not really. But Steven, I think Cody's a very good shout.
Good stuff, Steven. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
You, sir, are cut off. Interesting. Yeah. No.
We didn't even say like Steven. That's such a good shout. Damon. Again, who was the first person that popped in my head? And everyone knows how much I love Cody Rhodes. Not my first person.
Yeah.
Steven's a better booker man.
I guess if you think about it too, like, well, if you're really getting like into the weeds on like the politicalness of it, like he could probably bring over a lot of wrestlers too. like so the influence of him.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Ricky to come over. I don't watch Collision as much as I should be. Where's been Ricky and Big Bill since they lost the belts?
Well, Big Bill just showed up on Wednesday.
Oh, in
the learning tree. He's the new. He wants to be.
Oh, I missed that.
The big oak of the learning tree.
Again, this has been a really shitty work week, guys, and I'm not on top of everything that I should be. But I really don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah,
and I don't want Bill under that tree, but honestly, well then,
Bill is the tree.
He's
the oak.
Less Bill, more Ricky. I think. Where's Ricky been?
What does Jake Hager think about all this?
I haven't seen him either.
Well, he didn't really like. I think he had like one match.
He was also talking about us on the Jericho Cruise. The nicest, sweetest. I have the best picture of Nick and him together. Yes, and yes. I really am not loving this Chris Jericho at all. I hated that he beat Hook. And I really hope this is Hook actually really going to NXT. I really do. Hydra
likes it. Bill is the tree. It's exactly. Hold on. I gotta get in there. Thank you. I'm here every Friday. This is great.
But I'm kind of really over this Jericho, to be honest. And again, we met Chris Jericho. Super nice. Nick and him talked about Jay White because you're on your Jay White shirt. Again, Hager was
another guy lost to AEW. I'm not going to get into it. Not going to get into it yet. All right. With that being said, the phone lines are still open. We have another one who wants to get in.
Huh?
But he tends to cause some havoc on the show. So
is he not
we'll bring him in?
Girls?
But yeah, he's not like most callers. He's not like most callers. He's known in these parts as Ed.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What are you drinking? What are you thinking, Ed?
I'm drinking a blueberry cobbler iced coffee.
You always come with the weirdest drinks.
Hey, don't hate.
You are a blueberry cobbler.
I try. Listen, I'm a little sad that you figured it out. I was trying to hide that fact, but listen, astute eye, my friend.
So what are you thinking? What are you drinking? What are you thinking wrestling wise? We already know what you're drinking.
I mean, can we talk about just like okay, you guys had said before about how like divisive that what was it, Dynamite's closing segment was with the Bucks and Okada and Luke Perry's son Jack Perry.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the whole thing was all right, and then Jack Perry stabs Tony Khan with a like.
Was that not honestly the most delayed reaction?
The whole
him
just not being able to sell that like just took me out of the whole segment completely.
Honestly, I thought, and tell me when I'm wrong, that he was trying to reenact the scene from Alien.
Well, when the thing burst out of his chest?
Where it comes right through his chest. That's exactly what happened. He just had the wrong script. He was doing the Alien script, and he's like, oh, it was like 30 minutes later. Oh my god, I got hit in the stomach. Like,
do you think this is his first bump? Like they practiced it? Or
no, I don't think they did at all. I think he was just like, I want to do the thing, and like,
he did a lot better than Vince.
Did he?
All those stunners he took.
Listen, okay, he did better than like 75-year-old Vince taking that last stunner that 2 WrestleManias ago.
Yeah,
That's it.
There's some okay.
You're taking a punch to the gut.
Yeah,
you really need to do much. Which is
I
another
sell
movie.
better than that. Like
Who did that recently? Was
How
that
much cocaine is he on? Allegedly.
who used to use that?
I have
like,
a
as
pretty good
finisher
authority.
like
He is
that?
a huge.
You
Never
do
mind.
like a hard punch. I don't know. I just think a punch. I can I just say that just random
Yeah.
ADD moment. I
Go for it.
hate punches as finishers.
Done
Like when
right.
Big
it's
Show
not
had
bad.
it.
Well, what about the
Like-
Superman punch and like the
Yeah, I
orange
hate all of
punch?
it. I hate it.
Yeah, it all sucks.
It's literally with the Hawaiian punch. What?
Well, OC's is called the orange punch.
Yeah, like all of it. Yeah, no, because this is what I hate about that move. If you use a punch as a finisher, anytime you hit somebody, it should be considered a finishing move. So if I punched you in the stomach, if I punched Ed in the stomach, I should be able to get a 3 count because that's
Yeah,
my
I'm gonna
finishing
die.
move.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this. Nick is super swole, and if he hits me, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I won't. I try not. I'm just.
Listen, I'm just glad you have it.
I wouldn't
like
hurt.
living.
I wouldn't hurt anybody. I wouldn't hurt a fly. I'm gentle, as my wife can attest. I'm a gentle, not so giant. Hold on, Steven got to go allegedly on cocaine. Legal department.
I did say allegedly. Thank you, legal department, Steve. So many hats, Steven. I appreciate you.
Also, shout outs to Steve for being an absolute savage just a minute ago. Like he can't sell moves, he can't sell he can't sell tickets. Like Steve, stop! He's already dead.
I know. Steve is by far just torching Tony Khan. I think I don't know, Steve. This is what the real. At some point in time we're gonna have polls on the show, and we're gonna throw up a poll. And I think this is a legit good one because it's 50-50. If Steve dislikes Tony Khan more than Nikki dislikes Nia Jax, and we're gonna put them side by side,
Nia doesn't
have an unbiased opinion of what happens.
That's fantastic.
Anyway,
I don't know. Just that segment as a whole just really threw me for a loop. Like, and maybe it's because I don't watch as often, but like it didn't feel like it didn't feel like a big deal. And maybe it's just me because I only watched that clip, but it's like they haven't really done a good job of explaining why Okada is like a huge deal. The Bucks are the Bucks, and that is what it is, but they don't feel like main eventers. And then you've got Jack Perry, whose entire gimmick is I got in trouble because CM Punk got fired.
yeah.
That's your gimmick. Like, if you don't watch the show and you have no idea who Jack Perry is, and people are like, he comes walking out, cry me a river, like what does that mean? And then you explain it to the casual person. It's like, yeah, he said that because it's an internet thing. It's like it goes over the casual viewer's head.
Yeah.
And we were saying before, who's a needle mover? That segment doesn't move the needle. They didn't even draw like 700,000 people to watch the show on TV.
Yeah, it was one of their lower ones, I think.
And I wanted to succeed so bad, but like you have that on that show and the Jericho crap, which like hearing him talk like Jericho of old felt pretty good. Like that segment was actually hilarious until Big Bill started talking.
Well, he's a guy. Honestly, he just needs to go back to WWE.
No.
Honestly, I'd say that both of them do.
Well,
Give Jericho a retirement tour. Put Bill on, do something with him on SmackDown or something. But that's the problem too. I don't know what I would do with these guys.
Honestly, Bill can go to NXT. And I wouldn't put him back on Main. He was terrible on Main.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, anyone with a good mouthpiece could be a main eventer. Like,
and him with Enzo, they were killing it. They were doing everything they needed to do, except for
so big, and they broke him up. Who he also had a weird thing with Nia Jax.
Yeah, which I actually like that storyline.
It was funny.
Anyway, Ed, what else you got for us?
I mean, what don't I have?
Oh God.
No, I was honestly this week. It's not too much. I mean, can we talk about the absolute banger that is the video package after Mania? Like immediately, like after WrestleMania. I don't know if we talked about this at all. And I guess this is mostly just because I was listening to the song that was playing like the last couple of days. So like after the pay-per-views, they'll cobble together just like a highlight reel of everything that happened, and they got a song in the background. That Nothing More song, I think it's called If It Doesn't Hurt. And they were just showing like the everybody flying off of stuff.
Yeah, I probably watched it, but I feel like that was like 100 years ago at this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean nobody does packages like WWE.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Like AEW's getting better. They're talking about production value. Though, they're getting better with their package, but that's another thing. Just listen, like I don't know if it's just the live feed in Daly's place, but like it drives me. They cut to the backstage interviews all the time, and they just leave the audio on from the crowd, and it just dilutes that whole interview segment every time. I forget who it was this week that they just completely overshadowed for like the first like 10, 15 seconds.
I think the only people that good in AEW that get good packages is Bryan Danielson. Like the ones that they showed them going into the Ospreay match.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, is he paying those himself? Like, I feel like those are the only good ones. And it's like, I feel because he has such that creative brain. Like him and Mox's are a little more raw, but I feel like those are the only two that can put together like promo packages.
Yeah. And I was gonna say too, I really need to go back and watch the Danielson Ospreay match because looking at like the card for Dynamite, looking at the card for Dynasty, that was the one thing that stood out that I was like, ooh, I gotta check this out. There's no way that's bad. Whether it's actually a 6.5 star match, whatever that means.
Yeah, can I just say that that's not.
We disagree on this.
Yeah, I know, and this, and you all know, and you call it all the time. I'm a huge Will Ospreay fan. I think I get desensitized by some of his. Like the match was good. I'm not saying it's bad at all. It was a good match, a really good match. But to me, like some of his other matches that he's had are just way better. Like it's just I don't think I'm just so desensitized by how good he is in the ring that it's just like, all right, I've grown to expect it.
Yeah, the bar is already where it's at, and that becomes my problem with a lot of stuff that AEW ends up doing because it's very video gaming. Like everybody's just doing, like I bring this up all the time, right? There was a match on I think like Dynamite or Collision or something with it was Orange Cat. I think it might have been a 4-way, but like the two other guys got thrown out of the ring, and then Orange Cassidy and Penta just hit Canadian destroyers back and forth for like a minute straight, and I'm like, what are we? Guys, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Who am I rooting for? Like, what's happening besides like that's cool. They both did flips, but like, this is supposed to be simulated combat, right? Like, shouldn't somebody be dead?
So Ed, before we let you go, who's your top? You got a brand, WWE, AEW, you got your draft pick. Who's your number one pick?
Right this second, it's Cody or Punk. They moved the needle.
All right, gun to your head. So who you doing? You got it.
Punk's injury prone and he's old. Let's go Cody.
So he's going Cody Rhodes.
I can't believe I didn't even think of it.
So Ed and Steve rocking with Cody Rhodes.
Bye, everybody.
Kenny Omega for Nikki.
I went with the first thing that popped in my head.
I know, you love Kenny Omega. But Ed.
He's going to be on next week.
It was a pleasure as always. You, sir, are cut off.
And also not like most girls.
Yeah. She had to make sure they get that in.
I think it goes so far back. You're probably before your 30th birthday when you got that shirt. Again, and inside baseball.
Seriously. But good times. As always, good times. So what do we got? Looking ahead, we got the draft tonight.
The draft. It's very stringent rules this go around.
I know. Only
I really like that they're keeping like champions are off the board. Like all the world champions are on Raw, all the WWE champions are on SmackDown. I still don't know how much I love Cody being on SmackDown. I much kind of rather him be on Raw, but we'll see how that goes. So I think it's interesting that the champions are staying put.
It's better. It's much better.
Steven, we did not talk about that match really much. Nick doesn't think it's a banger that it was. Yeah. I thought it was. I don't know if I necessarily love the kind of injury angle at the end. That now he's like, I think he's like, I'm never going to use it again. And that came into with the Casino Battle Royal.
Which is awesome move. It really is. The Tiger Driver 98.
Punch Wrap, whatever Ed said the other day. I don't know. I think it's a lot of people are saying it's like top 10.
There's a couple other topics. Ed said Broken Matt Hardy. Yeah. There's a lot. Broken Matt Hardy.
Again, like when you said like the Rebellion got such a low buy rate, and they had obviously Matt Hardy show up, Sami Callihan show up, and somebody else show up. A lot of wrestling going on this week. I don't know. Matt Hardy didn't sign with TNA. I think he's still open. I think he very much wants to get back into WWE. Again,
Yeah,
Danielson
he's in great
Osborne-
shape. He responded to my tweet. Good guy. I interviewed him like 15 years ago at an indie show in New Jersey, way down South Jersey. And it was right after he had all those issues with his past with drugs, which it seems like his past is cleared up. I don't know about his brothers so much, but just a great, he had a great showing, a great show at that time. You could tell he was like in tune and getting back into shape. So, and now, again, I think it's interesting to see, like, I guess maybe when they have the contract, like whatever, it's like a 2-3 year deal that they get from AEW, WWE, whatever.
Well, so
they get like fat and they're like, you know what I mean? They get like, they're always working, but I feel like you have that job security. So maybe they go through like, it's a 3-year deal. Maybe year 2, they go through like a year and a half in, they go through like a lull because you're going to be in great shape as soon as you come in when you're first signed, just like WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania season, everyone's in the tip-top shape. They have new ring gear, all bells and whistles are all shiny. I think same thing, like maybe guys go through this. I mean, everyone does. Like your body goes through a cycle all the time where, you're skinnier here, you're heavier here, whatever. And I think maybe like when you get those contracts, you just kind of fall into a habit of like, all right, I'm gonna wrestle once a week or whatever it is and be a little lazier. I got the paycheck in. And I think maybe him getting to the point where his contract is, up and he knows that he may not be as valuable, he gets back into shape and renovates his career.
Well, I think the thing is, like, Matt's not signed anywhere. He's done with AEW. Jeff got time with AEW still. It's just like it's like Jeff keeps fucking up that like he gets stuck at a company because he does some bullshit like kids do not drink and drive. There's Ubers, there's cabs, there's like stay home and have a cocktail like Nick and I do. That they need to go back to WWE, have their end run, and get inducted together. I think Triple H would want to make that happen, but it's just like I think you'll just see Matt Hardy kind of float around until Jeff can get his shit together. Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I think there's a lot going on with Dynasty and
I really like that Ospreay Danielson match. I think you haven't seen it, go watch it. I think I liked it a lot better.
The ending is interesting with the angle with the injury and safe moves, which we talked about last week. Shameless plug with Crowbar. So if you want to go back and look at that, you can. So definitely take a look. But we are just about 45-ish minutes out from SmackDown. So we'll let everyone get their bathroom breaks in, their drinks and snacks. But before we go, obviously, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. Get ready for next Friday. We're going to do a little bit more promotion. So next Friday, again, we have the reinforcer, Andrew Anderson, on the show. Get your questions ready. Look him up. Check him out. He's on Instagram, X now, it's called. All that fun stuff. YouTube. So check that out. And then May 10th, we have Nikki Duke, Errol Sky joining us. So get ready. We got some fun stuff coming. We have fun every week. So we want to see you all every week.
You'll never know who shows up at happy hour.
Exactly. So that being said, get yourself something to drink. Get yourself something to eat. Get ready to watch some SmackDown. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy wrestling. So until then, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here. Bye.